Hiya, I hope you're keeping well. Today I'm going to go into tips for more of a hooded eye shape or maybe lids that have dropped slightly, and essentially lots of tips to make your eyes look and feel bigger, brighter, bring out the colour of them, that kind of thing, so I hope you enjoy. As always, everything I've used is listed in the description of the video, so if you click to make it full screen, the title will come up along the top, click the arrow next to it and a full list of everything will drop down. Okay, I thought I'd mix things up today. Feedback, ideas, very welcome. Rather than try and fit a whole makeup into 15 minutes, I am just going to focus on eyes today. If you want to work along with me, grab a bronzer, grab some blending brushes, grab a couple of eyeshadows and we can do it together. My main task today is to really bring out a hooded eye shape or a dropped eye shape, and the first thing I'm going to use is a liner. Now, you might not wish to use liner if you want to make the eyes appear bigger, but the reason I'm going to use one is that this is quite a coppery colour, and that is quite the opposite to a blue eye, and it will really hopefully bring out the blue in my eyes. So that's why I'm going in with this, and I'm going to do that as my first step. One of the reasons I like to start with liner is that if you want to pull the lid to get in there with the liner, you don't want to disrupt your shadow when you do that. Right then, the first thing I'm going to do is take a clean blending brush and some bronzer, and I'm going to start to tickle this. Let me show you actually. Let's just say the natural creases of my eyes are there. I'm going above that. I think one of the things it's really important to do with a hooded or dropped eye shape is to completely ignore the lines on your eyes or the natural curves of your eyes. And I know that might sound a bit counterintuitive, but ultimately, if we want to make the eyes look bigger, we can put the lines in where we want them rather than following the lines where they are. I think in particular, this is really great to keep in mind if your eye shape has dropped slightly and it's a bit different than where it used to be. It's just a case of having a few little tweaks with your makeup and figuring out where to put the same things now that you've got that slight change. As you can see, I'm buffing this upwards and outwards. And even if I were to leave it at that and just look forward on, you can still see that brown when I'm relaxing. Not that you're going to pull that stern of a face, but it's nice to know that if you were relaxing, you can still see the colours. Okay, next I'm going to use two colours from the same shade family. This kind of matte, what would we call it, like a caramel colour, and then this coppery gold. I've really purposefully chosen these colours because they're so opposite to blue that they're going to make blue look brighter. Have a little look at colour wheels online and see if there is an opposite to your eye colour that will bring them out also. Now, in the case of this, I'm going to use a completely clean blending brush. I like to just pack the excess off sometimes. And first of all, I'm going to tickle some of this deeper colour essentially through the sockets of the eyes, but what you'll notice is, again, I'm going to go slightly beyond the natural folds. Initially, my kind of concern is putting the shadow onto the eyes, and once I've got the shadows in place, I can then work on blending them out. And as you can see, this kind of rounded shape I'm creating is just dragging the attention outwards from these eyes and bringing everything kind of out in a way that, again, if I relax, you're still going to see these colours. Now, the same brush that I used for the bronzer, which is semi-clean, I'm going to use that to just kick this a little bit up and out. I might actually need to put a tiny bit more bronzer on the brush. That's exactly what I'm going to do to just soften the edges of this colour. Now, it just so happens that the bronzer is in a really similar shade family to this eyeshadow, but this technique is still going to work really well on other colours. In particular, things like greys and browns look really lovely together when you blend them in this way. Okay, now I want you to take a shimmery colour over the lid, and one of the reasons behind using all of these colours in the same family is that we want all of these colours to kind of bleed into one another and the shimmer to be really forward on. Now I'm picking this up with a really flat brush to reduce the risk of any drop down and also to just get a really dense wash of colour on the lids. Now, hopefully you can already see how that little pop of shimmer has really added a bit of extra dimension to the eyes, but also that kind of coppery colour has brought the eyes out that bit more. And to really make the most of that contrast with the blue, I'm going to match this colour up under the lash line also. And this is a really good thing, I think, to remember if you've got that more hooded or dropped eye shape. You've got all of this space under here. If the lids are slightly lower down, don't forget that this part of your eyes, you could use the shadows there. In particular, if you're using that kind of contrasting colour, when you look at me forward on, you've got this thing that's going to bring out the blue up and down. It's really worth keeping in mind. And I think it can feel a bit heavy when you look at one step or another one, but when you see it in the context of a full makeup, it's a lot more wearable. Now let's go in with some mascara. If you look down into your mirror when you apply it, you'll catch every single lash. And look at that. And do you know what? Another thing I would say, I know it sounds really obvious, don't be frightened to go in with quite a bit of mascara. That's a good few layers, but it has really opened the eyes up. And I just think sometimes, you know, I know people go on about less is more, but sometimes more is more. So there we go, some key takeaways. Don't follow the natural lines of your eyes, lift them up a bit, put those shapes in where you want them. Go for colours that are going to bring out your eye colour and you'll really make the most of that shape. A couple of blending brushes if you can get them. Lots of the brushes I use today, the pink ones, they're from Peaches and Cream. They're really affordable, they wash really well, some fantastic shapes if you just want to get a few brushes together for yourself. And yeah, just have a little experiment, try putting things in new places and positioning your colours in a slightly different place. Sometimes it's like you've got everything on your dressing table, just putting it on in a different way will make a huge difference. But anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought of this as a kind of shorter video that was honing in on one thing. If that was nice, I can do a few more of these. But thanks for watching, have a lovely evening and I'll chat to you soon.